Let me just pull up the portal so that we all can see. So what is the Job Skills portal? The Job Skills portal is essentially a one-stop platform that hosts all your job skills needs. So this is a live portal. You can actually access it on your mobile, on your laptop, but of course we encourage laptop for best experience. You will see many tabs. Today I want to focus on 4 key tabs. First tab, insights, framework, data and tools, and topics. So for the insights, what is insights? Insights are reports that we push out. How many of you here heard of the Skills Demand for the Future Economy report? 1, 2, 2, 3. Fantastic. Okay, maybe you're shy, so I won't put you on the spot anymore. But yes, that is exactly what Insights is about. We put together reports. Analysts like myself sit down with data, make sense of it, put them into a report so that you can consume it. You can read it, understand some trends that are happening in the economy. This is how the report looks like. So maybe I just share some key highlights of this year report. There are 4 chapters in total. The first chapter, we look at linking skills and functions at work. So we take a particular job role and then we look at all the skills associated with job role and how these skills have shifted and changed over the years. I think we can agree that what we do 5 years ago in the same job role today looks very different. And so that is what chapter 1 is about, linking skills and functions at work. The second chapter, we look solely at skills. So we break them down into economy, the digital economy, green economy, as well as the care economy. And then we take a look at the skills within each economy. What are the trends within each economy? Some skills may be prevalent 2 years ago, but not so today. Some skills have been prevalent since 5 years ago, and till today is still prevalent. So that's what chapter 2 is about. Chapter 3 is about identifying potential career pathway to in-demand jobs. So to help people that are looking to transit, to make a career transition. We have a 5-factor analysis on this. You can take, I won't dive into the details, you can check it out later. Essentially, we use 5 different matrices to tell you what is a good job. And from your current job role, what are some of the possibilities you can explore? Lastly, we have a special showcase on the creative industries. So this is a zoom in on the creative sector. We paint out a few sectors belonging to this creative industry, talk about some trends in terms of the skills, job roles, and the apps and tools in the industry. For each chapter, we have a dashboard, which later I'll be showcasing. That is the key highlight of today's sharing. If you are busy, you don't have time to explore the portal, dive into the report, we have a chatbot for you. Now everything is AI, right? So what you can do is essentially just key in here like so, summarize the report. After you key in, give it a while. Josie is thinking. Josie is looking for information now. And then Josie will give you a response. And it tells you a very brief summary of what the SDFE is all about. It tells you, hey, you know, the priority skills that I mentioned, digital green care, some critical core skills, importance of in-demand jobs and skills. And if you are curious, you can dive in to see individual chapter. Tell me about good job roles. So essentially what I'm trying to say is, if you have no time to deep dive into the report, spare maybe a minute or 2 to ask Josie some questions and see what Josie can share with you with regards to the report. If you're interested, Josie also provides you the direct link to the section of the report that you are looking at. So that is how Josie can help you. And that is one insight which the Job Skills portal have. Beyond just the skills demand for the future economy report, we also have other insights. So it's not that SkillsFuture only push out one report 1 year. In between, we also push out many mini reports, such as latest insights. These are some of the reports that we have pushed out this year. Digital skills in the maritime industry. Anybody from the maritime industry? Fantastic. Maybe you'll be interested in this. Green, how digital and green skills are reshaping the sector. I won't dive into individual reports. If you are keen, check out what we have, explore on your own time, and see what are some of the insights that SkillsFuture has come up with. Furthermore, we also have the skills framework. Anybody heard of the skills framework? Yes, fantastic. So the skills framework is essentially this. You can check it out on your own time. I won't go and jump into the details, but it's a very comprehensive dive into the jobs and skills across 38 different sectors. So if you're interested in a particular job role in a sector, let's say a marketing executive, what are the skills associated with the marketing executive? This skills framework is your answer. It tells you what are the skills tagged to this job role, not based on anybody, but industry experts. So this is not SkillsFuture sit down, own self brainstorm and come up with the tagging. We actually work with our industry partners and go through a session of validation. We sit down with actual practitioners, ask them, these are the skills we think are allocated. What do you think? Do you agree? So these are with expert inputs, and it's not SkillsFuture own self think of it. So check out the skills framework in your free time. Before I dive into the key highlight, which is the dashboards here, there is one last thing I want to showcase before I jump there. Any of you are working in the green economy, green related stuff? Okay, I see some hands. Very quickly, we have a dedicated page on green resources. You will be keen on these. I won't dive into the details because I think not majority of us here. We have a green task evaluator, tells you whether a particular job task statement is green or not. Some insights as well, some coming soon thing, and as well guides for green related resources. So a one-stop shop for green resources. In the future, I will believe that there are more topics that we will come up with. For now, at the start, it's only green. This portal for information is only launched earlier this year. So let's jump into things. Dashboards. This is what everybody is here for. How can SkillsFuture's data help me in my career journey? The first dashboard I want to share with you is the job requirements dashboard. This is how the dashboard looks like. So what is the job requirements dashboard? The job requirements dashboard is a dashboard anchored on job roles. Earlier, I shared that the skills report, we take a look at a particular job role and its associated skills, how it has shifted across the years. Now, for information in SkillsFuture skills list, there's 2,000 over skills. No way anybody can understand, appreciate 2,000 over skills. So what we have done is take these 2,000 over, group them into 6 distinct clusters, as you can see here. And then for a particular job role, later I'll show you how you can filter it, you can zoom in on the cluster trend across the years. So this is the skills cluster across 2019 to 2025. This is the whole of economy view because I have not allocated any filter yet. But let's take the example of perhaps a business development executive. Use this filter here in business development executive and apply. After I click apply, you notice how this particular skills cluster has shifted. So apparently the BD executive skills cluster may not have very big changes, but there are still some changes. Furthermore, we don't just stop here because if you see this, then you'll be like, okay, I noticed that the organization and people management cluster got bigger. But what are the exact skills? I need to know the exact skills before I can upskill in them, right? Beneath, we show you also the top 10 skills for each year in demand for the BD executive. So how you can make use of this is that you will first off notice that everything is relatively horizontal, which goes to show the top 10 skills for a BD executive not necessarily changed much over the years. But one thing for sure is check out number, perhaps this brown one, which is account management, number 5. In 2019, it was 6. There's some shift up and down. And then in 2025, it's increased its position by 1 to 5. This is for the BD executive. May not be much change, but for another job role, you will definitely see some more interesting insights. So this is how we hope you can make use of the job requirements dashboard to take a look at your own job role and see how have your particular skill shifted across the years. And then you ask yourself, given these 10 in-demand skills for this job role, do I have them? And if I don't, then maybe that's where I can take the next step to better improve my career journey. Maybe I can consider upskilling in these skills that perhaps I'm lacking. Beneath also, we showcase the demand growth across the years. So while you see some negative growth, it does not mean that this skill is not important. It just tells you that as the whole of economy level, this particular skill may not be rising in terms of demand. But still, from the above chart, you can tell that for your job role, that particular skill is still important. And I think that's more important, knowing that your job role, what other skills are important. Now, these are the filters. You can play around with it. I won't dive into the individual filter. Okay, maybe this skills cluster. Say now, digital trend very big, right? AI very big. So for sure, we are all interested in IT and data management skill. What you can do is filter for this. Why would you want to filter for this? Because after filtering for this, the top 10 skills you see here now are all from the IT and data management cluster. Meaning to say, perhaps you're not interested in whatever skills cluster that we have come up with. You are interested in a specific trend that you know is happening here and now. Digital trend, green trend. You can filter for that respective cluster, take a look at the top 10 skills for your job role. So straight away, we can see this number 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Technology application has been up and coming since 2021 all the way to today, as it has risen by around 3 ranks. So that's another way the skills cluster filter can help you know what skills to upskill in. Beyond just skills, we didn't stop at skills because we know today at work, how many of us use Excel at work? Well, nobody. Okay, everybody lah, taken lah. So we also know that apps and tools are important to any particular job role. So we don't just tell you for your job role, what are the skills that are in demand, what are the skills that are important you should focus on. We also tell you what are the apps and tools that your job role may need to fulfill. So what I can do, same thing, maybe I pick another role, marketing exec, how about that? After I pick marketing manager, click on apply. Same thing, the chart will show you the top 10 apps and tools required by a marketing manager over the years. So, whoa, who is this? Who is this that rose through the rank? Instagram. Instagram in 2019 is ranked 6. Not surprisingly, it's ranked 2, second place now in 2025. And we also have a filter called AI related. AI is the trend now, everybody knows. If you're interested in AI related apps and tools only, you can use the filter like so. By clicking yes. Now, all that retains are AI related apps and tools. Okay, I think we are quite a close group, so I can take Q&As dashboard by dashboard lah. Yeah. So any questions with regards to these 2 dashboards that I've showcased so far? A dashboard? Yes, please. Yes. So your question is where our data come from? Yes. So these data are essentially job postings. So you might wonder, oh, job posting, LinkedIn, My Careers Future, JobStreet, yes, and more. So we don't just take the big few. We take from a wide range of data sources, mainly all the publicly available job posting site. And then we try and determine for all these job posting, what is the job role you're hiring for? And then what are the skills associated with this job role? So from there, we compile at a very large volume manner, and then we can come up with some of these insights that we are sharing with you today. Yeah. Yes. A financial career, that's very specific. I will need to check back end lah. But generally, we crawl from over 30 job posting sites. We get our information for over 30 job posting sites. So recruitment agencies are also part of them because if you go on LinkedIn, recruitment agency also post their postings on LinkedIn lah. Yeah. So, but we do have some treatment to them because we don't want it to distort the data somehow lah. So we take into factor consideration all these and try to handle them. Yeah, I think you have a question. Yes. So all the data here are Singapore posted job postings. So we don't want any global trends because then it's not very useful to you. We want to know what's happening right here in Singapore. Yeah. Yes. You are absolutely right. Job posted, but not job hired. Why not job hired? It's because I think you can imagine the trouble. How would I know if a particular job posting has been filled? Maybe I can work with some job posting sites like LinkedIn, my Careers Future, but I have over 30 million rows of data. I wouldn't know how many of them are actually hired per se. But later on, I will show you another dashboard that gives you some information on whether it's hired or not. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. All right, all's great. Okay, fantastic. I'll move on to the next dashboard, the priority skills dashboard. So the priority skills dashboard is a dashboard anchored on skills. We introduced this thing called the skills matrix. Let me just zoom out a little bit. Okay, so you can see it's a 2x2 quadrant. On the vertical axis, you will see demand. On the horizontal axis, you will see transferability. What is transferability? Transferability is how many unique job roles make use of this particular skill. So you take, for example, this particular guy, financial administration. There are a total of 257 job roles that uses financial administration in 2025. So this is a skills matrix. Why did we come up with this? It's because imagine I didn't have these lines, and then everything is just a bunch of skills moving towards the right, up or down. How do I make sense of it? So by having a skills matrix, straight away I can cut the skills and tell you, hey, these are the group of skills you should focus on. These are the group of skills that are trending in a certain way. So it's a framework towards understanding skills. Beneath, we give you a distribution of the skills in each quadrant over the years. So we coined the name niche, quadrant, up and coming, in demand, transferable, depending on their characteristics. High in demand, high in transferability, low in demand, high in transferability, so on and so forth. How you can make use of this, that's more important. So before I jump into how you can make use of it, we have 4 different dashboards. They all look the same, but the only difference is the skills content. Earlier, I mentioned we cut them into 4 general economy to take a look at them. And these are the zoom in into each of the economy. Care economy, digital economy, green economy, and the I 4.0 economy. So let's just use the care. Let's just use the care economy since we're here. How can you make use of this? If you have a specific skills in mind, you can use this filter. But we acknowledge if we have 2,000 over skills, how will you know one particular skill in mind, right? So that's why we have a filter by respective insights. These insights refer to the report. So if you want more details on how exactly the report make use of this dashboard, you can look at the report. But for now, I will show you how you can make use of this without looking at the report. First, you can consider filtering for skills in the in-demand quadrant. The in-demand quadrant refers to skills in the top right part of the skills matrix. They are high in demand and high in transferability. Naturally, everybody wants them, right? If from 2022 all the way to 2025, these skills have remained high in demand, high in transferability in their economy, then definitely this is a skill I must have if I belong in the care economy. I want to add also, 2022 to 2024, quite understandable how we get the data. Full year already. 2025, we didn't just use purely current data because you know it's already July. There's still so many more months. How do I get the figure? SkillsFuture actually have our own skills forecasting methodology. We try and make a prediction on these skills. What is the demand? What is the transferability in 2025? So the value you see here in 2025 are skills demand and transferability based on our forecasting methodology. So that's why there's a 2025 value. But you know, sometimes we cannot just look at skills that are already here. These are the skills that you probably already have. I've been in the sector or industry for so long. These are the common skills that everybody have. I also have. So what is the next step then? The next step is perhaps you don't just look at skills that are already here now. You look at skills that might be here today. So insights 3, skills forecasted to change quadrant. After you click on the filter, you will notice that these are the skills that we forecast is going to change quadrant in 2025. Meaning, based on actual data from 2022 to 2024, they may be in the left-hand side of the skills matrix, which is lower in transferability. But based on our forecasting methodology, we feel that these skills have the potential to shift into the right-hand side, which are the transferable skills quadrant, and increase and become even more relevant in more job roles. So these are the skills that perhaps nobody is looking at them today, perhaps, and you can consider upskilling in this area if you want to take it a step further. You don't want to just stop at looking at skills that are here and now. So that's one way this filter can help you. The other filter that we have is the skills that change quadrant. Similar to Insights 3, but instead of based on our forecasting methodology going to increase, is already increased previously. So you see from 2022, 2023 move, 2022, 2023 move. So it's not based on our forecasting methodology, but based on historical data that has proven these skills become increasingly more relevant in more job roles or increase in demand. Yeah. So that's the priority skills dashboard. The rest of the tab looks identical, it's just different skills within them. Again, I pause here first and I welcome any questions. Yeah, please. About these skills. Yes, that's a good question. So all these skills can be found in our skills framework. So if you want more details, so you're spot on. Some of these skills like automation design is very broad. What constitutes automation design? The skills framework document that I shared earlier, if you go into it, it actually tells you for a the different proficiency level automation design have. So not everybody is expert at automation design. Some people are beginner, intermediate, or expert. And we have individually some of the description that is allocated to each level. Beyond just that, we also have the knowledge and ability with regards to these skills. So we tell you, if you claim to have this skill, what are some of the knowledge you should have, and what are some of the abilities you should be able to demonstrate. So that helps the individual or whoever that's reading it make sense of a particular skill, and that can be very complex, like you mentioned, automation design. Yeah, I think I saw another hand. Yes. Correct. Thanks. I think you are referring to, for example, this particular skill, right? So if it's going down, but the shift quadrant to the right, it tells me that while this skill in the economy is dropping in demand, but it's becoming even more relevant in more job roles. So it goes back to the fundamentally why you are looking at this. If you are looking at this to have the skill that everyone else is asking for, then you should look for skills that are going up in demand. But if you are looking to transit perhaps to another job role within your economy, then perhaps you should look at skills that are moving right because they are becoming even more prevalent in more job roles. So that's one way you can interpret it. Yeah. I'm sorry, you mentioned you have two questions, right? Yeah. Oh, yes, correct. Thanks. So like you mentioned, everything is dynamic, and that's true. Doesn't mean that the skill that's important today means will be important tomorrow. I mean, we look at how large language, ChatGPT, was very hot in the past 2 years. But suddenly this year, a bit more quieter. So again, it goes back to the intent they are looking at. Are you looking to upskill just to remain employable and have the skill set that is that your particular economy want? Then you should look at skill that's going up. Or are you looking for a career switch to a job role that is within your economy? Then you should consider skills that are moving more towards the right, so more transferable in a sense. Yeah. Yes, please. I think you will have to play with it. Okay, again, these are 2,000 over skills. Even me also cannot remember the movement of all 2,000 over skills. But for sure there are. But it does not mean that you should entirely avoid them because it depends on your situation. Perhaps you are in a job role that is very niche. Only you need this particular skill. Maybe nuclear scientist, only you need this particular skill. Nobody else needs. Then the question is, we cannot expect these skills that are very niche to specific job roles to be increasing across a wide range of job roles. So it goes back to what are your needs and what you're looking for. But I would think it exists. Thank you. Yes, please. Yes. Yeah, I think you have a point there. So I think it's because if this is all relative, right? 100% is the maximum. If I got 200 skills, confirm not every skill 1%, confirm there's 0 point something. But it does not mean that this skill is not important. So like he said, I think we can take it in relative, look at the positioning of the skills, how they have moved in comparison to other skills. And from there, make a judgment based on our own career needs. Yeah. Yes. Hmm. Sure. So if you're interested in teaching per se, that will be under the care economy. Food science, I think it depends which part of food science you're looking at, right? So it can be the a bit more digital side of it. It can also be part of the care economy. It's either these two. I would think it's digital. Yeah, food science belongs slightly more towards the digital side of it. But maybe you shouldn't limit yourself to just this dashboard. You could make use of the earlier dashboard that I shared earlier. That could perhaps serve your need better because you can straight away filter for food science related job roles and see what are the skills needed from there. Yeah. No worries. Correct. Effective client communication. So again, why suddenly this one 15%? It's because in the care economy, there is 107 skills. So 100% share with 107 skills. Whereas if you go back to the digital economy, same 100%, but now you share with 244 skills. So naturally, the distribution looks a bit more different. So like you mentioned earlier, don't be so hard up on the actual figure, but look at its relative movement in comparison to other skills. That can perhaps give you more insights. Yeah, I think you have a question? One example is, sure, why don't we do it right now? So if we take a look at Industry 4.0, you have a list of skills here. So one more thing to add is, if you take a look at the skills list, I got reminded, thanks. You will notice data analytics. Off the bat, you would imagine, hey, data analytics, very clear cut, digital skills, right? Why is he doing here? It's because what we have done is we have taken data analytics and placed it within the Industry 4.0 category. Look at its performance in comparison to Industry 4.0 skills. And that is this tab. But if we go back to the digital economy, and then we look at data analytics, its performance will change. Because how these skills perform in Industry 4.0 is very different on how these skills perform in the digital economy. But digital data analytics in general is used across multiple economies. That's why we put them differently. And then we pit them with the skill set within that particular economy. Yeah. So I think you're interested in this. Maybe I'll use the same example. I can filter for skills that are in demand. Okay. After doing so, same thing, you will see a list of skills that belong in the in-demand quadrant. So the list is quite long because I think I4.0 has quite a large number of skills, 216. Yeah. Yes. In demand. But does not necessarily mean it's the most important, because again, depends on what you're looking for. If I were to consider these particular skills instead, data and statistical analysis, it used in more job roles. So the question is, do you value in demand more, which suggests that in this economy, this particular skill is highly demanded, or do you value your transferability skill set? You can use across a more wide range of job roles. So you go back to why you're looking at this and what is the end goal that you're looking to achieve. Yeah. And different individuals will prioritize different things. I'm sure you understand. Okay, great. Any more? Great. I move on to the last dashboard. The last dashboard will be very interesting to you, I assure you. It's the skills and job mobility dashboard. So what is the skills and job mobility dashboard? Earlier, I shared about the report. Then I mentioned that there's this particular chapter that look at identifying good jobs and transition into these good jobs. This is the dashboard that does that. The first part of the dashboard is this particular scatter plot. It gives you an overview of all of 342 job roles and its associated demand and whether they are growth roles. So let's say you have no starting point. You just want to explore, exploratory. Take a look at what are some of the growth roles here in Singapore. Filter for yes. And now these are the job roles that are growth roles. If you hover over, you can find out some information about them. If you want to find out how we determine growth roles, you can refer to the report. But we have a 5-factor analysis. Very quickly, I'll just mention them. Demand growth, skill similarity, historical transition, and the skill set. Yeah. So below is a tabular version of the above information. Let's just say you care about demand only. I only want to know what is the top demanded job role. Use the filter accordingly. Change in job demand, growth. So this is the growth. Yeah. Sorry, the 5th factor is salary here. Yeah. Okay. The interesting one, the transition pathways board. Here I show you 5 different boxes. Don't think they are just boxes. They are very powerful boxes. Let me show you why. Let's say today you are let me just choose a random job role. Environmental officer. I am an environmental officer today. I'm looking to transit into other job roles. What job roles can I transit easily? Go to the right side and click the job down. And then you will see a list of job roles that perhaps, based on the data angle, can easily transit into. So let's just say for the purpose of the demonstration, I choose a BDM. I click on it, and it will show you. Okay, so the middle box shows you environmental officer, what is the salary, job demand, change in job demand over the years, as well as the economy tagging that it belongs in. The right box shows you a business development manager, the same set of information. But the bottom box, right here, it shows you some of the information that I mentioned earlier. For an environmental officer and a business development manager, are the skills similarity high or low? So in this case, it's very low lah. Then you might wonder, why still recommend here? It's because I would think salary lah. It's because it's a move up in salary. So of course, we are interested in it, right? And we don't just stop there. We don't just tell you, skill similarity very low. We also tell you historical transition. So earlier there was a question about hired, whether the job postings are hired. Historical transitions tells you that. It means that based on actual data, have someone out there in Singapore actually did this transition before. And I think that piece of information is very valuable. And if you just look at the difference in salary, then yeah, that's the interesting part, right? Below you will see the skills gap, meaning skills that are in business development manager, but not in environmental officer. So what are some of the skills that you need to pick up so that you can transit into this new role? We also show you some of the skills and the associated costs you can consider. There's a list here. But not everybody wants to go for a career step up, right? It does not mean that I maybe at my life stage, I want to take it slow a bit. I no longer want to chiong so hard and go and chase after more money and different job role. How can this dashboard help me? This dashboard can still help you. Same thing, filter for the, maybe I just use a marketing manager. Instead of looking right, look left. These are the job roles that can easily transit to a marketing manager, which means that if I'm a marketing manager today, I will have definitely no problem transiting into this set of job roles. And you can also have consideration on, hey, maybe a BD executive. I don't want to do marketing anymore. I want to be a BD. I can become a BD executive. And then from there, take a look. Oh, historical transition, yes. Means someone out there have become a marketing manager from a BD executive before. And then the same set of information, salary, demand, skills gap that I mentioned earlier are all right here. So that's how you can perhaps make use of this job role. But let's not stop here. Let me share one more example since we are at NUS today. I used to study at NUS many years back. No, not many years, some years back. Okay, so let's say I actually just exploring. I know I want to enter a particular space. Say, let me find what's an interesting space. I want to be a graphic designer, but I don't know the career trajectory of a graphic designer. How can this dashboard help me? You select graphic designer. From there, same thing, take a look at the potential steps that you can take after you have become a graphic designer. And perhaps you might wonder, hey, editor, not bad, in line with me. But after you become an editor, I'm sure your career journey don't end there. What you can do is look at the destination job role. There's a few lists like an artistic director, and then you can click so. And from here, it shows you how your career journey can shift from a graphic designer, ultimately all the way to an artistic director, and how you can get there. The reverse is true. Say you already want to be an artistic director. You want to know how to get there. I already have my end goal in mind. I want to become an artistic director. Simply put the artistic director all the way here. After that, take a look at the feeder job roles, the very first box. These are some of the job roles that I can start from to ultimately land to become an artistic director. Maybe I start from a cashier. Maybe I start from a cashier. Let's see how it goes. So apparently a cashier, you might become a video camera operator. That's the only choice lah. Yeah, so that's the only choice that you can become. The skills that you pick up is video editing. Then from there, you become an artistic director. So we recognize that some of this information is flawed. It does not mean that, SkillsFuture say you want to be artistic director, you become a cashier. At the end, you can make it there. No, we are not saying that. We are saying from the data angle, what we have collected based on demand, job role, demand growth, skill set, and historical transition. From the data angle, this is what it says. But of course, we know some things when take it with a pinch of salt, a bit far-fetched, cashier to artistic director. So we have to use our own discernment, and together with the other two dashboards that I shared earlier, how they can be used together to know what is the next step you take for your career journey. And it depends on the stage of life that you're in and what you are looking for ultimately. So we are pause here first. Any questions? Yes. Yep, I think these are useful information that perhaps we can add in. We can take a look at it, but I think you would imagine actually a bit hard to quantify. Everybody's career journey looks different. What if someone starts and then, hey, you know what? I want to take a career break before I continue. I want to upskill myself in some other interest that I have. That's perfectly fine. But I think it's a good feature to have, and we will take in the feedback and see how we can further improve it as well. So this salary is taken from the occupational wage survey. It's a MOM survey that he ran with people to get. That's why you see, actually cannot be Singapore only got 342 job roles, right? There must be way more. But because again, I say this is the data angle. We use publicly available information like MOM survey to come up with some of these salary benchmark. And it does not mean that it put 2,000 here means a cashier is only paid 2,000. I'm sure it varies greatly. So yeah, that's something that that's how we get our salary data. Yes. Thanks. I think we didn't put it here, but that's a very sharp question. How we identify them is actually relatively complex. I mean, you will imagine there are things that, how long is the course? How much is the course? What is the proficiency level of the course? Who is the training provider? How many people sign up for this course? So we take into factor all the different category, and then we recommend one particular job role here. Actually, this dashboard, we want to spotlight the SCTP, SkillsFuture Career Transition Program, as well as the CCP, Career Conversion Program by WSG. Just that for this particular selection, there isn't lah. If I were to choose one selection, we will actually highlight that, hey, actually SCTP is available. I just randomly pick one, see whether I have or not. And CCP available. So this transition from a health services manager to audit manager, hey, we have a SCTP program out there that can, a CCP program out there that can perhaps meet your need. Yeah, so that's how we did it. It's very complex. Yeah, there is. Yes. Mm. 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 Yes, yes. You're absolutely right. Because what we identify as good job roles last year or earlier this year might not continue to be good job roles in the future. So I get that the feature is important, the timeline of getting to become that particular job role. But just to clarify, the courses that we showcase here are not your degree, master's kind of program. These are the short-term program that you can find on my SkillsFuture website. If you go there, then there's a very long list of courses. There may be 3-day kind of course, 3-day, 1-day, 5-day course. Yeah, so these are the courses from there, not the master's or the degree kind. Yes. Sorry? Yes, correct. Yes, you're right. So I don't think that SkillsFuture say here got 5 course. You attend all 5 straight away, you can make the jump. No way lah, right? We all know that's not true. But one thing for sure, if you attend all 5, you pick up all these 5 skill set, I think you have a bigger bargaining power when you go to the employer and say, hey, I have all these skill set. I know your job role needs this skill set. I think I'm right fit for the job. So I think that's where we are coming from. It's a guiding tool, These are the skills gap that you need to meet first, perhaps, before getting a higher chance at securing the job role that you're looking for. Yeah. Any more questions? Yes. Sure. Yes. Uh, sure. Okay. Let's stress test the dashboard. I'm not expert in logistics, but let's see whether data can help us. So logistics, again, if you are looking at like you mentioned, maybe a bit more not so pressure. So I just put logistic planner lah. Then we look at the left side. These are some of the job roles that perhaps you can consider moving into. Like you mentioned, you don't want a 50% pay cut, that kind of thing. So unfortunately for now, you have to individually click one by one and look at the pay difference lah. But I must add that the job roles here, you wouldn't, we unfortunately cannot categorize them in terms of maybe you are a senior management versus a junior data scientist. So data scientists, we lump them all as data scientists, right? But we know that data scientists, maybe you have a fresh grad data scientist versus you have a data scientist, 20 years experience. So the salary range is very wide. And for now, we are not able to have that kind of detail, that kind of filtering by tier, junior versus senior. That is why as we continue to try and improve this particular dashboard, we're hoping that you guys can help to subscribe, because when you subscribe, we push out monthly updates to the particular portal, be it new insights, new data. We update our dashboard. You subscribe straight away every month, you can see, oh, okay, whether got anything interesting or not. Nothing interesting is fine. It's okay, just delete lah. But if that particular month got something interesting, I'm sure you're going to be first to check it out. What is this new update about? Yeah, but for now, there's no. But we note this feedback and we are looking to improve a lot of our dashboard. Yes, for sure. Understand. Yeah, understand. And that's one, I for now, the dashboard maybe don't show you this view lah, but in the future, we will continue to improve some of these, and it's through engagements like this that we get feedbacks and make all the portal better lah. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, okay. If there's no more question, the last thing I want to share is, today I share a lot, and you think that, hey, perhaps all this information useful for my friend, but my friend is not here. How? No worries. Come to the portal, go to the dashboard. Below, there's a YouTube video. If you forget what I share, you can listen to the person's voice. Hopefully, my voice is better than his voice. But yes, there's a YouTube video that you can check out. It will teach you how to make use of the dashboard. So, one last thing, we hope that you could subscribe to us. There's a subscribe button at the portal. Just search Job Skills Portal on Google or Safari. I'm sure you will find this page. So, do subscribe to us and stay tuned for more updates. I assure you, there are many things that we are pushing out monthly, be it insights, data, dashboard, but it's something that you don't want to miss. Yeah. Okay. I think that's all I have today. Is there any last questions, burning thoughts? Yes. Thanks. We understand that it's easy to be confused about skills terminology because we push out so many. Then because we work in this line, then we're very clear what it means, right? That's why we have a conscious effort to try and not to introduce new term, and we just call skills. For priority skills, they are actually a smaller group of that 2,000 list that we have. These are the skills that we sit down with our industry partners, and they say, I have identified a handful of skills, you want to consider them. So all the priority skills add up around 500 plus. Yeah, so it's like a zoom in lens from the whole list of skills that we have. But it is a legit concern that you mentioned, too many terminologies, which we are aware, and we are conscious to not try and create too many terminologies. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, fantastic. All right. So remember, check out Job Skills Portal, subscribe to us, and stay tuned for more updates. Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jonas, for sharing with us. I hope this gives us a lot of good insight onto the portal, obviously, and how this can add value to you in terms of the kind of skills that you want to work towards, and more importantly, the kind of lifelong learning initiatives that you are thinking for yourself. Yeah, so with this, feel free to stay behind if you've got any more personal questions that you have for Jonas. Other than that, thank you very much for coming and joining us in this festival.